Hi, everyone. I am super excited to bring you this interview with one of my dear friends, Faiza, also an alumni of 3T Institute. Faiza agreed, which I'm so appreciative of her time, to have an interview and talk to us about her project management experience, obtaining the PMP certification, how she's using the certification today at her current position, and everything else that she wants to share. So with that being said, Faiza, welcome, and tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Majuba. Thanks for having me. Yes, I was one of your students. Your amazing program helped me achieve one of my professional goals. So thank you for that. And I'm currently working as a technical specialist. My primary role is not a project manager yet, but I do work on projects, and I'm currently managing a project. And I'm hoping after this to kind of branch off more into the project management side, since I'll have more experience after I finish this project that I'm managing right now. And so that's pretty much a summary of what I'm doing now. I work in IT,
Nice.
healthcare IT, managing or working with a electronic medical record for a major health system in Northern Virginia.
That's wonderful. And I know that project management wasn't always in your radar. You have been in healthcare. So what was your scope of work before getting into project management and working on healthcare applications?
Yep. So I originally was a nurse, and then our health system decided to go electronic, and I was kind of pulled into this project because I worked well with physicians and helped train them with our old system. So we brought a software, and they kind of pulled me in and said, you were good with this other thing you were working on. Do you want to be part of this big major project where we're going to make everything electronic? And I was like, sure, great. So I joined it. It was going to be a 3-year project, and we were going to make all of our hospital systems standardized and everything electronic. And after the 3-year project, after we implemented the system, we could either go back to our old job or we could stay in IT. And I decided to stay in IT and kind of support the system, optimize the system, because it was just at that time more flexible for my schedule. And it was actually kind of interesting. And then as I kind of really got deeper and deeper into the IT world, our health system is constantly growing. So there are many, many, many projects. And even though at that time I wasn't a project manager, I worked on projects. And because I was on, I guess, I don't know if you'd call it an expert, but I had a lot of experience on my team because I was there at the beginning throughout the implementation. I got assigned to a lot of the projects as our application lead. And so through that experience, I got to kind of started off seeing like a piece of a project, like a small piece, and just watching how the project managers would manage the whole thing, right? Like from beginning to end, like it'd be an idea somebody had or something somebody wanted to do. And then you see the project manager kind of manage the whole process from beginning to the end. And then you see the end. And I thought that was kind of interesting. The more projects I was on as the application lead, the more interesting I found it to be. And I was like, I think I would actually kind of like to manage the whole thing. And so one of my professional goals was to get the project management certification.
Yeah.
I had known about it. I knew people who have had it. So I've known about it for a long time. But then I finally said, this is going to be one of my personal goals. I didn't need it for my job at the time, but it was a personal goal I had out there, like, checklist goal. And so I talked to a couple of people that I worked with, one person who had gotten it. So I was kind of feeling around, getting information from people who were interested or who were studying to see the process and get more information. And then I spoke with a person who said she did not recommend doing a boot camp or a class. she said, just study it by yourself.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, went and got a book and saw it was kind of complicated study for myself. And I was like, maybe I should take a class. And so I was asking around, and then I met you, found out about your training system. And I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect. So it all kind of just fell into place. Like that was the perfect time when I found out about your program. And so signed up for it.
I know. And I think what we can tell the audience is that you and I actually worked together. And I remember holding the PMBOK in my hand, and you're like, wait, the PMBOK, what are you doing with that? And I was like, well, I teach the classes sometimes. And yeah, and it was a pleasure to have you in the class. I'm glad that you trusted the process and joined the program that is very unique. So what did you think was the most useful in the 3T system approach of learning that you found was the key to you actually preparing and studying and passing the PMP certification?
So one thing I really liked was because I was a working professional, and my schedule at that time was really busy with kids and work and everything. I liked being able to self-time myself, like the modules, go at my own pace. I also liked, as I really got into it, you have so many tools that you gave us that helped us. Like I liked the study calendar that you gave us. That kind of really helped me get organized, especially when I had a firm deadline and I was like, I'm ready. This is how I can break it up over a 30-day period to really get my studying done so I can be ready and prepared for the test. I really liked the practice questions. I found those to be really helpful with studying. And I think I liked the way you presented the subject, the way you presented the material. It would made it in an understandable way. It was understandable because when I had a coworker who had a book, and he let me look at it, and I was flipping through it, and I photocopied a couple chapters, and I was starting to look at it myself, and it was way more confusing that way. But then when I started doing the modules, and I was like, oh, this is what that means. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful.
Thank you for sharing that experience with the system, with the very unique learning approach that really is made for busy career professionals who need hands-on support and some sort of a structure. I loved it.
The coaching calls. I really liked the coaching calls also because it really allowed us to ask questions. We could really dig deep into the content if there was something we didn't understand. And even if you didn't have questions, just hearing the other callers ask questions was helpful. And then also I was able to meet some study partners. So a group of us did study a little bit for the test together. So it was really helpful.
I love that. I love that. And I remember the day you called me with, you sent me a picture of your sheet that said, like, you passed. And I remember like screaming so loud, Faiza, oh my God, you passed. And I think that, I was so happy for you because I know it was a goal. You had worked so hard and, you had been practicing and this was something you wanted to accomplish. So I was very proud of you when you sat in, took the exam and passed. And, and so now it has been, how long? Has it been a year since you've had your PMP or a little bit more than that?
A little bit more than that now.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
how went together, so it's hard. I can't remember.
I know time flies. So since you received your certification, how do you now look at project management and the things that you work on? Do you think the certification has helped you understand the processes and has it added to your knowledge of project management that's now serving the organization you work for?
Yes. Even though, like I said, my primary role is not a project manager, it's not my title right now, but I am working as a project manager on one project, and even I'm still part of other smaller projects where I'm not the manager, but I'm working on these. Understanding the framework has been really helpful, even on the smaller projects that I'm on, figuring out, getting myself organized, and even listening to the project manager on those projects. I know what they're talking about now, right? It's not like kind of just listening like, huh? Like, I get it. I get like all of the things that they're going through with their worksheet. I understand what they're doing. I understand how they're trying to break things down, how things are dependent on each other. And even outside of work, on a personal level, it helps also. Because even when you're just managing many projects at home, running a house, whatever, like you kind of know to get to this end product, I need to do this. I need to break it down. I need to. So it's been really helpful.
Yeah, and that's one thing people always ask me. They're like, I'm in industry X, Y, and Z. Will the PMP certification help me? I always say it's a set of standards. It's standards, it's a set of processes that you can apply to really any industry, show your expertise, be able to get organized, know how to take, like you said, a project from start to finish. And now that the standards, it's not like you can copy and paste it into an organization. Of course, every organization's culture is different. The standards take their own personality depending on the organization that you work for. But yet, yes, there is some sort of a blueprint that you can use, which I absolutely love.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. What advice would you give to, say, someone who is looking to enter the world of project management and then potentially want to get their PMP certification? What advice can you give them?
Well, one advice that I have for someone who wants to get the certification, it's really helpful to know what kind of learner you are. So you know which route you want to take for studying for the exam. If you want to do a system like the 3T system, or if you want to do one of these boot camps, or if you want to do a self-study and figure it out. If you know if you know what kind of learner you are, then you know which one of those would be a better fit for you. For me, I knew it was more helpful to have that guidance and that support. Also, I would say it's helpful to give yourself a deadline. I was one of your problem children because it was a personal goal. And I didn't need, like, my job wasn't dependent on it. I didn't have a hard deadline at first, so I spaced it out a little bit. And I think I would not advise that to people, because you would study and then take a break and then start studying again. And it's like, oh, I forgot what I studied last time, so let me start again. And then so I definitely don't recommend doing that. I think give yourself a time frame and a deadline and stick to it, and then get through it. So you don't have to keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping, because it can make things a little bit difficult.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a great tip. So you would say that, I heard you say the PMP certification has really helped you relook at the projects at your organization, even on a personal level. It's really helped you. And I loved your tip about figure out what kind of learner you are. Like, what is it? How do you learn? Do you like accountability and coaching? Do you like to do things, learn material on your own and then come for support? Or are you someone who's like, I can do this fast pace? Yes, I agree wholeheartedly there, that understanding who we are and how we learn is going to allow you to pick the right program. Wonderful. Exactly. Thank you.
And of course, I'm biased for your program. I think it was great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Faiza. Honestly, I think we're both mothers, right? When I created the program, I was a busy mom of 3 kids, working a full-time job. I honestly did not benefit from the boot camp. I took a boot camp. I paid a lot of money for it. Yet I had a hard time learning from a fire hose. So all this information, I felt very dumb at the end of it. I'm like, oh my God, the instructor keeps on saying you can pass on day 6, you can pass on day 7. And I'm like, I don't think so. And it really did take me about 3 months to break the material down, understand it, really understand the exam taking process. And so when I finished and got my PMP, I was like, I want to create a system. Like, I want to create a way of learning that is not going to make people feel like they're dumb and stupid. And so that's essentially, you know, what I did. Anytime someone comes to me and they're like, I don't think I'm a good learner, or I don't have a good memory, I'm like, give yourself a chance. Those are everything that you're telling yourself that's not based off of any kind of truth. And that helps them. You know, I've had people from in retirement who have passed the PMP, and some who are very young who have some project management experience. So I know that the system really works with anyone, any individual, which I absolutely
I would
love.
say you definitely break the information down in a way that can make it make people understand it, and you're very patient with your students, the way you explain it, and so helpful and so encouraging and actually inspiring when we have like coaching calls, and you're really encouraging and you give people the confidence to think, okay, I can get through this, because it is a lot of information, right? It is a lot. And so I definitely appreciate that about you, that you were very patient and very so you broke it down in a way that I can understand it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think hopefully what you talked about today, you know, having a nursing background, going to school for something so different, and then getting into project management, then getting your PMP certification, now working on health IT applications that are helping save lives. Like, you saved lives as a nurse, but now you're saving lives as a project manager. I love it.
My goal is to, like, I think, like you said earlier in the call, how you can apply these concepts, you know, globally on all kinds of projects, and I'm seeing that as well. So I definitely am getting to a point where I'm wanting to branch out and not just be siloed in my one area, and try to like move out and you know, dip my foot in managing projects in a different realm, maybe not healthcare IT, but other things. So that's my next, we'll see, stay tuned.
Well, I know that you're very smart, you're very driven, aside from being a working professional, a mom. I know that you're also currently running a fundraiser to raise some funds, and I want you to share that. I want you to share the passion behind it, and how our audience who's watching today, how can they support this great initiative that you have put together?
Yep. So we're talking about education, right? And, you know, studying for the PMP and getting this certification is a type of education as an adult professional certification. But so many people, before they even can get to that point, are trying to go to college and get a college degree or a graduate degree. And we know here in the United States, it's so expensive, right? Astronomically expensive in some cases. And so especially, I think a lot of people have to take out student loans. And student loan maybe isn't the worst part. I think the interest on those student loans can be really bad. And you have so many people who are stuck in these, you know, low income payment plans, and the interest just builds and builds and builds. And you might have borrowed 10,000, but you end up owing 40,000 because interest keeps, like, you're paying minimal interest. Interest keeps building. So I'm partnering with an organization called A Continuous Charity, and their goal is to give interest-free loan payments, student loan payments to students. They help college students, graduate students, or people who are finished but need to pay back student loans. They help them as well. Interest-free, which is amazing. So if you borrow the 10,000, you pay back the 10,000 to them. They pay it directly to the organization. And so you know, it's really, really a great cause. You know, this is something that's on the front of my mind right now, because I have two older boys who are, you know, getting ready to do the whole college thing. And that's something they're thinking about, is do they have enough money, and do they have to take out student loans, and they don't want to be paying interest for the next 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So A Continuous Charity is the name of the charity. It's amazing. Check them out. They're on Instagram. They have Facebook, they have a website, and I have a link, but I don't know if you have it, but my
Yes,
goal.
no, I would love for you to share their social media handles, the websites. I think anything related to education is what 3T Institute will always endorse. And then, of course, we have you, like I said, you know, it's just you're a working professional, your mom, yet here you are supporting something that is going to change lives, give individuals an opportunity to learn and then be able to pay for these loans in return. So it's a great initiative. I'm so glad that you are part of it. I know when I saw it, I was very proud. I always get proud when I see everything that you do. It's very inspiring. So absolutely share all of that along with this video. We'll go ahead and post it so those that want to support the cause, they know exactly where to go.
Yep. And my fundraiser is just my fundraising goal is just $1,000. So it's a small goal because I'm in a group, there's 30 of us. So each of us has a small goal of $1,000. So every little bit of donation helps, $10, $20, whatever. And hopefully the group of us, because we're such a large group, once we have all of our donations, we'll have a nice big chunk. So that'll be great. So I'll send you the link for that.
Yes, I'm very happy. Yes, I think there might be a little bit of delay, but I'm really happy about the fundraising. Like I said, community is first. One of the things that I always tell people, you know, there's businesses. Yes, I operate a business, but I never forget that at the end of the day, we're all human. The human connection needs to be there. We need to really care for each other and our goals. And I think that's how we can make a true impact within these organizations if we operate from a level of humanity and care. Because we know how it can be at these organizations, very cutthroat. And I want to change that a little bit. If we can change that with one person using a different approach, being a true leader, hopefully it will slowly change the dynamic of our smaller teams and then amplify it to the larger teams. But with that being
You're doing a
said,
lot, making a difference. So thank you so much.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for sharing your experience, your knowledge, and really taking the time to hopefully, if someone else is hearing this, it's going to make a change in their lives. And thank you for all your effort within the community. And I look forward to us having more conversations.
Yes, thank you.